starting to come late. I guess that's my fault.
What happened?
Yago, you're competing with Thursday night football.
Oh, it's Thursday night football now. Okay, Liner's here. So. Huh? I haven't heard. Anyways, okay. Okay, what are we up to? We left off the bottom, right? The bottom.
For guys in the city, it was on Monday nights. He would give shear, and it had to end by 9 o'clock when kickoff started.
Okay. He probably did that on purpose.
No,
was this?
It was
saying
in LA. These guys all came to like get together for football. So they made shear like, they had dinner like 8 o'clock, and like he did shear like 8:30 or something like that.
Who's shear?
Huh?
Who's shear?
Rabbi Moshe Green.
I hear you.
Mike Tube, Jason Katz, those days.
Interesting. Yeah. I hear. Listen, that's what you got to do. Listen, we got halftime shiurim now too by the Super Bowl, right?
Oh, good deal.
It's almost like you're a batlin if you don't have a shiur by the halftime show.
Yaakov, I don't want to tell the story from because they'll just make fun of me. But it's one of the all-time great moments in yeshiva history.
Okay, you're gonna leave everybody hanging with that.
You almost have to watch the Super Bowl so you could do the halftime cheer.
Correct. Right.
Well, my story's about the Super Bowl, and it's way better than the halftime cheer.
So let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
You want to know?
You went to the Super Bowl in 1860.
No.
I muted your son-in-law, so go ahead. You can say the story.
Marchuk wants to hear it too, so he's not.
Did I say it, Yaakov?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
So it was we used to go Sunday afternoons to the shechter's house to watch the football games and the Knick games. Every Sunday afternoon, none of us went to Second Seder. We went to shechter's house religiously the whole winter to watch the games. The Jets made the Super Bowl. Super Bowl III. The Jets. We were either Jet or Giants. 69.
69. Even Naftali Liner knew that. You should give him a praise tomorrow. Don't forget, give him shvach. He knew what year it was. Go ahead.
So myself and Benji said, the Super Bowl, they're going Meshiga with the Super Bowl. We're not watching the Super Bowl. No Super Bowl. We made up, we're not watching the Super Bowl. Nobody in the yeshiva watched the Super Bowl. We didn't go to Shechter's house. We all went to Second Seder. I saw the Jet game. Did not see the Jets win.
Wow.
We did not go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. When's the good part of the story start?
You missed the good Super Bowl.
Tell him maybe why the Mets one day. You can't. Maybe that's why the Mets won.
Shmuel David, when I met,
he's a Met fan, right?
I met Emerson Buddha at the Models
in
Ostra, the training camp. Went out of Moy to tell him how great a game he played, and I told him I watched every play he played, Emerson, and he had such a smile on his face. I gave him such honor.
They say that's one of the few cases where you could lie if you're actually talking to a football player.
Ravaren, maybe that's why the Mets won that year.
Right. You hear what Liner's saying?
I heard that.
That was your shvach. Maybe that was your schar.
Byron, the Pella is growing up. I also went to his house to watch football every Sunday.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. And sometimes you went to practice for Sunday on other days too, Peretz. Okay, anyways. So, to Chazer, right? So yesterday was how to get truma on top of a grave. Then we said there's mitzvahs lav lahenes nitnu. Then an eruv can be made. You make an eruv only for tzarich mitzvah, right? Then does a person really care to have his eruv throughout Shabbos? Then the Mishna says like a whole list of demai and ma'aseh rishon say all those things that you could make an eruv out and that what you can't make an eruv out. And then we said why demai works because everybody can become an ani. You just make all your stuff hefker. And we on Amud Beis went through all the chiddush of all these cases. And we had another Mishnah. You can't. This is what the sugi that we're dealing with now. An eruv can't be sent with a deaf, dumb, minor, a katan or a kusi. but they could give it to somebody else on their behalf, right? But we said a katan could make eruv chatzeres. Yeah, so that's basically what we're up to. And so today's daf is going to be pretty much we're gonna be talking about all taking shlichus, whether how shlichus works. That's going to be most of Amud Aleph, and pretty much the entire Amud Aleph is going to deal with shlichus, and then on Amud Beis it talks about chazakas a little bit, which is actually complicated, interesting sugi, but complicated. And then the next Mishna is talking about where on the tree, if you're putting your eruv in Rosh Hashanah, your eruv techumin in Rosh Hashanah, where exactly in the eruv techumin do you have to put it? Meaning, can you put it in Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah? It has to be accessible, otherwise it's no good. Okay, so let's just start from the two dots, even though we did a few lines. So we start with this whole sugi of shlichus, right? So the Mishna said that if the first wide line, the Mishna said if you say to somebody else to be makabelit from the cheres shaitan cotton, so then your eruv is going to be a good eruv. So, okay, so the question is, why don't we be concerned that we said a cheres shaitan cotton cannot, or a kusi can't be trusted to make an eruv for you properly. So why should they be able to be trusted? Why should they be able to be trusted to hand it over to somebody? If you don't trust them, you don't trust them, right? Because Amar Rav Chisda,
We trust the guy that.
no, that's the next kasha. Because Amar Rav Chisda ba'aymed v're'eu. No, you're standing there and you're watching him. So you're watching him so you can make sure. So here too, where you're standing and watching him. Actually, on my way over here, somebody just texted me if an 11-year-old kid can do tefillas kelim. Just agav, right? So Uri, it's go shout out to you. Good. Yeah. Right? Why don't we be chayshid that he's not going to take it from him? So this question is this is just a basic question about shlichus. How do we know how do you know your shlichus doing your shlichus? Meaning, l'chara nowadays the Gemara's teretz would be he'll text you that he did it, right? But here the guy has to go out by bein hashmoshes. How do you know that he did it, right? So Kedam Rav Chia, I thought it has to be done before bein hashmoshes. It could be done before bein hashmoshes. Yeah, that's true too. But the guy, maybe they're saying the guy might not come back, right? You don't know. It doesn't say that the guy has to report back to you that he did it, right? So we say Kedam Rav Chia, chazaka shlich eisa shlichusai. We know we have a chazaka that a shliach does what he's asked. Hachanami chazaka shliach eisa shlichusai. So here too, it's a chazaka that a shliach does his shlichus, right? Which I actually had a question about this because my mother asked me to bring a donation across the street to Shifa Rockaway for Yom Narayim. And I didn't want to go into the office because I didn't fill out paperwork or something. So Lamaisa, meanwhile, I have not done my shlichus. So I didn't, my mother just heard, you weren't supposed to hear it, Ma.
You can't be trusted, but a katan can't.
Basically. No, it's still in my pocket. It doesn't say, we're going to get on Amud Aleph. We're going to see how long do you have. It doesn't say, I'm going to do the shlichus. I just didn't necessarily do it instantly. All right? There's nobody in the office spending potato kugel time.
Oh, yeah, get out of there. It's going to get dirty in a minute.
You don't have to say anything.
I'm going to have to mute it. Okay. Anyways, I was just wondering, shlichus, okay, whatever. Anyways. The Heichi Yitma the Rav Chisda Rav Yechiel. So where did we learn? Where we hear Rav Chisda Rav Yechiel's thing? Aha Itmar. The Tanya Nasnu Lapil. A very interesting case. Another case that's what are the chances of this happening? Not right. Nasnu Lapil. If you gave it to, you gave your eruv to a monkey, right? I'm sorry, to an elephant, or vaylichai, and he brought it. Or to a monkey, and he brought it. Ein ze eruv. It's not an eruv. And if you told it to somebody else to be makabelit from the monkey and from the elephant, then it is eruv. So Gemara says, right? Maybe the animal's not going to bring it. But that's the Rav Chisda said, no, you're watching the animal, so you see that the animal brings it. Maybe.
Why do they pick these two animals?
It's a good question. I don't know. Probably because of they were rare animals, maybe. I don't know.
That's what Rashi asks.
Right? I'm saying.
Yaakov, somebody this morning looked it up on probably Google that elephants, they have studies that elephants understand human language, and they could also differentiate between between different French and English and Vrit and whatever, but they understand human talk. That's what the guy looked up. I don't know.
I hear, but more than a dog. I mean, aren't dogs trained? I'm saying Rashi says, right? Sometimes, I'm not so sure if Rashi's coming to say why a koif and a pill as opposed to anything else, or he's saying
They're more trainable. They're more trainable.
Than a dog? Than a dog?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
A monkey and an elephant are more
The
trainable.
intelligence level is a lot higher.
Uh-huh. I hear.
There was just a study similarly with monkeys that they were able to cognitively remember a sequence of numbers with like in a flash in front of them on a screen better than humans were. Like they're just touching the numbers on the screen. They were more accurate than humans.
I hear. Okay, so then maybe we do come from monkeys. Maybe that answers.
But we know we had tails, right?
Right.
And what?
We had tails.
Tails, right? The Jews, yeah. But anyways, okay. So
no, Adam Harishon had a tail. Right?
But that's a machlokes, but yeah, right. Okay. So he says, somehow when you watch the animal, how do you know the shlich is going to be makabel from the animal? So it's a chazaka that the shlich does the shlichus. So again, the case that the Gemara that was originally said was when you give it over to a monkey and to an elephant, right? And then we're applying those same answers to handing it over to a kid and to a cheresh and to a shaita, right? That's basically how the Gemara is saying. On a dioyraysa, we say there's no chazaka that a shlich does a shlichus, meaning if you have to be mekayim a mitzvah derabanan, then he's saying you cannot assume that he did your shlichus, you have to confirm. But if it's derabanan, the derabanan is another word for derabanan, then it's a chazaka that a shlich does do a shlichus. In either case, we always say that there's a chazaka that the shlich does the shlichus. So Rav Sheshes tries to prove that you always assume that a person does the shlichus, right? And Taisus seems to say that we paskin like Rav Sheshes, yeah. The Tan Mishakarav Aimer. So basically, the way it worked with the korban Aimer was on the second day Pesach. They were makriv the Aimer, and then all the new grains were able to be eaten. But how does anybody know far away from Eretz Yisrael if they can eat the Aimer? So Mishakarav Aimer hutar a chadash miyad, right? Once you bring the korban Aimer, chadash comes mutar immediately. But rechaykim, meaning people in Yerushalayim know, they make an announcement, I guess, or whatever, and everybody knows they brought the korban Aimer. What about the people far away? We tell the people that are far away that they could do it from chatzais. They could assume by midday the korban was brought. Chadash diiyraysa. Chadash is a derabanan. And we learned that rechaykim is mutter from chatzais and on. Isn't that, why don't we assume it? Because we assume the Kaihanim are going to do their proper work. Now again, Kaihanim are shluchim for Klal Yisrael. So the assumption is that the Kaihanim are going to do their korban properly. But Rav Nachman says, no, it's there because we know that Bezdin is not going to be lazy. So we know Bezdin's not lazy, so they're going to make sure. But a regular shliach, we wouldn't trust for the derabanan. Bezdin, we would trust. What do you say? Did he say something? Okay, V'ika Damri, Amar Rav Nachman Minami, Allah. The Ketani time of the Vishayaydin Shein Bezdin Misatzin Boy. Right, just a different version of the Gemara. How do I know? Meaning Rav Nachman's proving it. The Ketani time of the Vishayaydin Shein Bezdin Misatzin, but we know that Bezdin's not going to be lazy. Bezdin Hu Deloy Misatzin Boy, Hashliach Misatzin Boy. It's mashma that Bezdin is not lazy, but a private shliach is going to be fine. Rav Sheshes Samalach Bezdin Apalge Yoima Shliach Kula Yoima. This is negeya to me. Okay, Bezdin, we know that by half the day they'll get it done. Halfway through the day they'll get it done. Shliach, he's got the whole day to do it. He's not necessarily going to get it done right away in the morning, but eventually he'll get it done. Right? Fine. Okay, so
why is my Beis Hamikdash we assume by half the day it's going to get done?
The what?
Why by Beis Hamikdash do we assume half the day will get done? Maybe that's
No, I think it's anytime Bezdin takes care of things. They're going to take. The assumption is they're going to take care of it by halfway.
Bezdin is more reliable than the average person. Bezdin is more reliable than the average person.
You hope so, right? Otherwise, go to a different
You would hope
Bezdin.
so.
But yeah,
That's not a chazaka.
what? You're saying that it should be a
Bezdin will
chazaka.
do their job.
Yeah, so it's a chazaka. So
It's also a chazaka. How does it work?
No, I
Chazaka,
mean,
people do their job.
No, the Reb Nachman says we don't use the chazaka for derabanan. Along comes Reb Nachman with the chazaka that we do.
It's not a chazaka, it's a yodin. What's the difference between chazaka and yodin? Yodin is we know, and chazaka is what?
No, we don't know. We take it for granted. That's a chazaka.
we have to wait for see chazaka nomen beis exactly how chazaka plays into this. But
Why aren't we assuming a shlich is doing the shlichus?
why are we or why are we not?
Why are we not?
Ask my mother if a shliach does a shlichus and see what she answers. You know, right? Saying we don't know. You don't know if the guy's doing it.
A yachid versus a chabura. So you have more people. One guy goes ahead, he messes up, so it's over. You have a chabura, so one guy drops it, the other guy will pick it up.
That's a fair point. Right? Right? We had that before also. It's reason. Kehana are going to remind each other when there's a group. They're going to remind. No, but that's true. But how do you know to trust the shliach? That's the shaila. How do you know to trust the shliach? There are some people that say.
How do you know to trust the mashgiach? How do you know to trust?
And a chanami.
How do you know?
That's different. It's not the same thing.
That could be, but right, that could be also. But and a chanami. How do you know that a person has nemonis? Right. That's what. How does a person know? How do we know he has nemonis? Right. But
So
this is not a
know
nemonis issue. It's
How
not
do you
really
know?
an issue.
How could you be? How could you have nemonis on somebody being yod to you for a mitzvah also?
True. Right.
Saying like,
What is the svara here? What is the svara? What's
The
the
svara
reason?
for Rav Nachman or Rav Sheshes? You seem to be understanding Rav Sheshes.
Yeah.
There seems to be Rav Nachman is saying that for a diiyraysa, you need a diiyraysa stronger. You need some sort of proof for a diiyraysa. For a derabanan, we could be silent, but for a diiyraysa, for a diiyraysa, you're innocent until proven guilty.
So is it
Or you're
nemonis?
innocent, meaning you didn't do it until
Is it
you
nemonis?
did it.
Is it nemonis?
I don't think it's nemonis.
So
I'm
what
not
is
understanding it's nemonis.
Zev, so how do you know when somebody does an aveira and he's bringing a korban? How does he know he got a kapara? How does he know the kohen wasn't betting on the jet game while he was shacking the guy's korban?
well, if it was you, you didn't go to the Jet game. You're not going to watch
No,
it.
but I'm not a kohen, so it doesn't help.
Fair.
How do we know anything? That's my shazak.
Okay.
No, but that's what we're saying. There's a chazaka that a shliach does his shlichus.
It's the chazak. So the chazak does his shlichus. So how
Correct.
can Rav Nachman come around and say?
Because Rav Nachman's saying that the chazaka doesn't work for a derabanan. It's a very complicated sugya. Chazakas, and when we say go with roivs and we go, it's a complicated sugya. Right? I'm saying when do you say a chazaka negative dioyraysa or not? We're gonna have to see. Let's see it weiter. The shilas that come up more on them in bays.
What's the proof that you have to give for a derabanan?
I have no
That it was
idea.
done.
I guess
And
the
like-
guy has to
Like
confirm.
Meister
no?
Shani, you're giving Meister Shani to somebody, and he's your shliach to take it to your shalim and be poded for you, right?
Right.
So what's your proof that he actually did it?
I guess if he says it, then he has nemonas. No,
So that's it. I mean, it's like,
I would think so. Right. Anyways, well, let's see how we go through this fight. Okay, so that's the first case. Amar Rav Sheshes. Now, so Rav Sheshes wants to bring another proof that we say shliach chazaka shliach shlichus in all cases. Derabanan and derabanan. Amar Rav Sheshes minam. Inela the Tanya isha sheyesh la leida iziva, a woman who became a zava, right, or she gave birth. So she has to bring the birds, right? The shtei tayrma b'nei whatever, depending on how much money she had. Mevia mois v'nesenes b'shayfer. She brings the money to the base of mikdash. She puts it into a shayfer, right? What does it mean, a shayfer? Into a pushka. But the reason why it was shaped like a shayfer was wider on the top, thinner in the bottom, so that nobody could steal any money out of there, right? That's what we said yesterday. Go figure that this is in the base of mikdash, and that's what they have to have, right? V'tevelas v'yichelas b'kachim, and then she could be tevelas. She could eat kachim la'erev in the evening, meaning she can assume that they brought her carbon for her, right? My timer, lama shum darina chazaka shliach shlichus. Is the reason? Is it not because we assume that the kohanim did what they're supposed to do, right? From Nachman Hasam Gedur Rav Shmaya, Damar Rav Shmaya, chazaka ain't bezdin shokayanim. Oim de misham achiyichu kol moishe b'shofar. It's a chazaka that the bezdin, the kohanim don't leave. We know it's a chazaka. Kohanim don't leave the Beis Hamikdash till there's no money left in the pushka. Fine. So, but again, it has nothing to do with shlichus. It's a different chazaka, right? It's a different chazaka. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, Taka, because a guy asked me, because everybody was selling their chomets online this year, right? So many Rabbanim did it personally, but some did it with, online, Chabads or whatever. This guy never got a confirmation email that he sold his chametz, right? So
he asked you this now?
No, he asked me this a couple of months ago. Can he eat his chametz? Can he eat his chametz? Right? So I didn't want to tell him, like, some they asked for a donation. Had you given one, you'd have a proof on your credit card that they got it. I didn't want, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, so I whatever. That's I don't know. Is a return email considered a proof? L'chayra, that's a proof.
Even if it's an automatic email?
No, if it's an automated email, then l'chayra that doesn't work. No. That wouldn't work.
Some people don't even like when you say thank you after,
Correct. Let me just tell you something. If everybody called and text, did you do the shlichus? Did you do the shlichus? I'm not going to be a happy man. Let me tell you. Yeah, but there is a chumrah out there why you have to give money to the rabbi to do, because he's not nemon to do the shlichus unless you pay him. If you pay him, then that's a whole different zach. Okay.
Were donations down a lot this year?
Recorded. Make sure we release that. On
donations down. I don't keep track. What do you say?
I said that was just recorded. We'll make sure we release that on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Send it all out on the social media networks.
Leon Mayer is very busy with this before Pesach. He stands next to me. He says, "I'm telling you, in the sugyas, you got to give him money. Otherwise, he's not doing the shlichus." Now, I don't know if he knows that I'm an irresponsible shliach like I was today. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe he knows something that. Okay. Anyways, that's proof number 2. Proof number 3. Amar of Sheishis Mina Aminala. The Tanya Amel Chaver Etzeva Lakad L'Chateinim Miteinasi. Go and you can go take some fruit from my teina. Oichomayan arai. Then you're allowed to eat from it arai. I mean, you can't sit down to a meal. Umaasrin vadai. Yeah. But if you do sit down and eat a meal, then you have to take it off. You have to take off meiser. Right? That's because he just told the friend just told you, go eat from my te'inim. Right? He didn't say anything specific. If he tells his friend, fill up your basket, right, from my te'inim, from my figs, then oichel mehen arai, he could eat from them temporarily without taking off any meiser, as we know, right? I think we said it yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever it was, you're allowed to eat temporary without taking off chuvas and meiser. So meiser and demai. But if you're going to eat a meal, then you have to take it off meiser as demai, meaning it's a suffix whether the fruits were taken off or not. So but this is all talking about if that is an amoretz, right? Where the guy that's giving out the fruit is an amoretz. So we don't know whether to trust him on the fruit.
So why could you eat arai then? It's not amoretz. It's my automatically.
No, arai is before. Arai you're allowed to eat.
Even from an amoretz?
Why not? What's the difference amoretz with tzad?
Regular, right?
No, okay, we'll see weiter. B'chaver, but if it's a chaver, a talmid chacham, or a learned fellow, oichel ba'ein tzarich la'aser. You can eat it, and you don't have to take off meiser at all. Divrei Rebbe. That's what Rebbe holds. Meaning, we're assuming that the guy's an amoretz, so we're afraid that he didn't take off the meiser if we have to, right? But a talmid chacham, you don't have to. Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, the opposite. This is all talking about an amoretz. Al b'chaver eina oichel achi aser. By a chaver, you're not allowed to eat at all until you take off meiser. Why? Now he's trusting the amoretz more than he's trusting the chacham. Why? Right? So we had this also this week, that we're not chayshit, the chaverim don't give off truma unless all the food is in front of them. Right? So, which is a chumrah, but here it's going to lead to a kula. So we're assuming that the chaver is not going to take off the chumas and meisers now because he doesn't have all his food in front of him. So therefore he can't be trusted. Therefore he has to take it off. So
the Amaretz is trusted?
What?
But
no,
the Amaretz is trusted.
No, you have to. Well, arai, yes, but if you're eating a mud, amir, you got to do demai. But the tamachon, for sure, you got to take it all. Yes, that's what comes out. The Amaretz is not trusted. The chacham is not trusted, but because of his chumras, not because he's mekel. He's more machmer, therefore he's not trusted.
Rabbi Gamaliel seems to say that an Amaretz is okay.
Well, they're not disagreeing really by an Amaretz.
Right on the Aretz Ma'asrim, that's why.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You have a chazaka, right? The Aretz Ma'asrim, and there's no thing to say. They take only Menamukah.
See, by an Amaretz, they would both agree that you have to do the same thing, take it off at least out demai. So it's a suffix. It's by a Talmud Chacham whether you can be trusted at all. Rebbe holds it can be trusted. Rav Shimon Gamliel says the Talmud Chacham cannot be trusted. I mean, trusted, yes. Trust is the wrong word. Trusted, yes, but just because of his frumkeit, we're assuming that he didn't take off the truma.
He didn't do it yet.
Yeah, right. So then Rebbe says, Amar Rebbe, nirin divrei dvarai mit divrei abba. It seems that my words are more correct than my father, right? It's better, the Talmud Chacham will adjust his chumrah and say it's better that we should take off truma when all the food is not min hamokaf, meaning it's not all in front of us. Better to do that, which is not usually our standard. We usually take it all off when it's in front of us. But if we don't do that, then we're going to feed the Amaretz is going to eat tevel. So better that we take off the truma on vegetables, fruits, whatever that are not in front of us. That we should rather not give Amaretz tevel. Fine. So right? So right now the homachloikis is whether they're nechshad or not. But we're saying everybody holds that the shlich is going to do his shlichus. Yeah, what do you want to say? What do you say?
Who's the oichel? Who's eating? Who's eating?
The guy
or Amaretz?
Oh, that's going to be the Gemara's kasha.
It doesn't make sense. What Rebbe's saying just falls apart.
Oh,
Rebbe says the chaver is going to take Shloim and Amukah, so he shouldn't feed Amaretz.
Right.
And yet we're telling you halachas here that he should take her, not take her. These halachas for Amaretz.
And right? Yeah. So you mean it doesn't fit? Who are we talking about, right? Let's see weiter. Are you being mechamed to the Gemara's kasha? I think that's what you're asking. Yeah, but anyways, the point right now is I was saying chazaka shliach shlichusay. The whole machlokes is just whether we go with the chazaka or not. But Rav Nachman, also could do Rav Chanina chuzah. Rav Chanina chuzah chazaka hu al chaver she'ena moitzi davar she'ena mitzukim mitachas yado. No, we have another chazaka. Every time Rav Sheshes comes with a proof, Rav Nachman disproves it by saying, no, there's a chazaka that it's done. Meaning, the point of chazaka, I don't know if we made this clear before, the point of chazaka is when something has a chazaka, it's assumed that it's done. Right? And we don't have to worry about it. Yeah?
What
the question is how you establish the chazaka. But once you have a chazaka, so this chazaka is that a Talmud Chacham would never allow any food to be given out from his house to anybody unless it was taken care of. The tevel situation was taken care of. And so that's a chazaka. So therefore, we're not relying on the shliach. We're relying on the chazaka. What do you say?
Why would I have relied on the kohen as a shliach? He's not my shliach. He's my host.
Yeah, but he still needs to. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I don't. Is that? Yeah. And a chanami. So okay. There's a.
What's the havamina?
Yeah. There's also another kasha is that the demai is the derabanan. Right. I guess you still. I mean, if you come to my house, am I your shliach to make sure all the food is kosher? You're saying not, right? You're saying that's not.
Well, for starters, you need to make sure it's kosher for you, let alone me.
Yeah, but people.
There's a chazaka, but when you go to a restaurant in Israel that has a different hashgacha, let's say like rabbanut hashgacha, you're worried that maybe the fruits and vegetables weren't dairy. I'm not talking meat, but I'm saying for dairy, you're worried maybe that Truma and Meiser weren't taken off the fruits and vegetables, right?
Fair enough, right?
Right. So you have two choices. Either you can go with the rove of 90% of the fruits and vegetables come from the same distributor for all restaurants all over Israel, or used to be, 25 years ago. Or you could say, okay, so on my plate, I'm going to mafresh some of them and I won't eat them.
Right.
I don't know if that works, but I'm saying
So you're saying, but you're
maybe
also...
No, I'm saying the restaurant is not your shlich for truma.
True.
The restaurant, it's your responsibility.
Right.
Isn't the store in Israel have a sign or something that they gave Meister or whatever it is?
That they have produce that was not
how do you know that they did it? How do you know that they did it?
It's not part of the hashgacha, I'm saying?
No, but I'm saying if you don't trust them, right? That's what you're saying. If you don't trust them, like, oh, I don't need this rabbanut, I don't need that rabbanut, I don't need all the stuff that goes on over there. Right? So I don't know. Anyway, so now the Gemara asks technical questions on Rebbe. Hi, Amar Mar. Right, so right. Anytime it says Amar Mar, it's a quote from before. So when did we say this? Like Rebbe said, like divrei Rebbe, that the chaver, or if it's a Talmud Chacham, you can eat it and you don't have to take off mice. Hi Amaretz the Kamerle Laman. Who is this? Who's the Amaretz? Right? Elam the Kamerle Amaretz Chavre. If it's talking about where they're both Amaratzim, so he's telling it to Amaretz that his friend, Ma'asrun Demai Mitzayis. If you tell him to be Ma'aseh Demai, he's an Amaretz. That was the whole point. They made the Gezerah that Amaratzim don't do this. Right? So he's not going to listen to you. Ella ba'amaretz the Kamerle Lechaver. Must be the Amaretz is telling it to a Chaver. Right? So then Ein Masef, if that's the case, if it's an Amaretz talking to a Talmud Chacham, then what's about the Sefer? Nirin Divrei Dvarai Midivrei Abba. Right? He says, what I said, it seems to be proper, the right thing. Mutter sheyeshdu chaverim litroim shaloim amukah v'al yechilo l'amei tefillin. Right? Amei aretz my boy hasam. Then what is an amoretz? What's an amoretz doing there? Right? We're talking about the guy was a Talmud Chacham. Right? So it's not. There's no amoretz. So technically what is going on here? Who's the amoretz? Who's the Talmud Chacham? So it's all a kasha. So Maravina Reisha ba'amaretz shama lechaber. No, the Reisha is talking about where an amoretz invited the Talmud Chacham to take from his figs. Seifa b'chaver shama la'amaretz. And the Seifa is talking where a chaver is telling it to an amoretz. The chaver achar shoymai, and then another Talmud Chacham was listening in. Right? So then Rebbe savar oisei chaver oichel ve'ein tzarich la'aser. Right, that chaver can eat and he doesn't have to take off meiser. Why? Devade isuri meiser, because he's for sure took off meiser. Ahu chaver kama. I'm sorry. Devade isuri meiser. Ahu chaver kama ilove. That first guy definitely took off meiser, and he heard him. He heard that that's what's going on. You can't know. He's not allowed to eat until he takes off meiser. Why? Because chaverim. Talmid Chacham don't take off meiser unless all the food is there, and therefore we're concerned that he didn't take off meiser, so therefore you definitely have to take off meiser. Rebbe, and then Rebbe said to him, no, the Talmid's the other way. The Talmid Chacham will lower their standard to take off chumas and meisers, so that they won't be marshal any amaratzim. So now this next line also very, very interesting machlokes here. B'mai kamifligi, what's the machlokes? Rebbe savar nicha le'lechaver delavid hu isura klila, v'loy le'aver amaretz isura. Rebbe held that it's a Talmud Chacham would rather be over on a light isur, and so that an amaretz shouldn't be over on a regular major isur. Rabba v'Rav Shimon Gamliel savar nicha le'lechaver delavid amaretz isura Rabba v'yu afilu isura klila lo'yavid. Meaning, Rav Shimon Gamliel is saying, no, a Talmud Chacham would rather an Amoretz be over on a big Isser than him not being over on an Isser at all. Yeah, you hear this deep hashkafic thing. So basically what they're having this machlokes about is Rebbe saying that a Talmud Chacham is going to do a minor Isser to save an Amoretz from doing a major Isser. And Rav Shimon Gamliel says, no, Rav Shimon Gamliel says a chaver would rather not do any isser and let the Amoritz do a major isser. Right, so this gets in. This is the kiruv. Right? This is the big kiruv shaila that you get. You get a lot. Are you allowed to lower your standards to stop? Do you lower your standards to stop Amaratzim from doing Yisurim, or do we not care? Right. So Taisus, there's a big Taisus here about it, because we know that, let's say you saw, right, the case in Shabbos way back in the second blot in Shabbos, third blot in Shabbos, where somebody put his bread into the wall of the oven on Shabbos, right? And then, by mistake, the assumption is by mistake. Now there's an issur derabanan to take the bread off the wall on Shabbos, off the wall of the oven on Shabbos, right? But if you don't take the bread off the wall, it's going to get cooked or baked. And since it's going to get baked, he's going to be over an issur diiyraysa. So are you over an issur derabanan to save your friend from issur diiyraysa? So the Gemara there is very clear. It says, you do not do a chet in order to save your friend, right? So that's Taisus kasha. It's a strong kasha. So Taisus says a teretz. Yeah, that's over. What do you want to say?
I'm just thinking by Saita, who wrote the name that gets destroyed? The kohen. The husband.
The kohen has to erase the name.
The lady didn't write it. The kohen wrote it.
Right.
He's the one getting slapped. I mean, it's conceivably getting slapped. I mean,
he's doing the issur.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, that's a little different that the Torah says to do the issur, but
yeah.
No, yeah. So here, the Taisus says the difference here is that here, since it's the chaver giving the food to the Amoritz, so he's directly the cause of it. See, by the case of the oven, the guy made his own mistake. You're coming there to try and save him. You're not mechuyev to save him if he made his own mistake. Here, you're the one giving the fruit. You're achrayus to make sure things are taken care of, right? So therefore, maybe you should do a shtickle issa to make sure you're not machshel people, right? Okay, that's it.
That should be on shidduch questionnaires. This machlokes should be on shidduch questionnaires. See how the guy answers it.
Listen, it definitely will make for a not boring date, I would think. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, zok the Mishna. Nasnu be'ilon lamala me'asar tvachim ein eruv. So let's say you put your eruv in a tree above 10 tvachim. Now that I think about it, I meant to take a picture of it. I remember I told you these Hasidic guys make an eruv right in front of our bungalow. They put it on a telephone pole, like where the metal, where there's a metal box that connects to the telephone pole. So they put their peanut butter in a bag, in a cup right there. But it's definitely above 10 tvachim, definitely. Right? So the question is, does that work even? Okay, let's see what the Mishna is.
Luckily, the summer's over.
True. Yeah. So Nasnu Be'ilan, well, I don't know. These guys could still be up there for all you know. But Nasnu Be'ilan Lamalam Yasar Tfachim Ein Eruv Eruv. Right? If you put it on a tree above 10 Tfachim, the Eruv is not an Eruv. Right? Why? So we'll see in the Gemara. Lamatam Yasar Tfachim. If you put it below Yasar Tfachim, the Eruv Eruv. I mean, obvious. The reason is because if it's above 10 Tfachim, it's a different rishus. You don't have access to your peanut butter. Right? Let's say you put it into a bar. Even if the bar is 100 amas deep, your eruv is always going to be an eruv because it's always going to be rishus hayachid.
Doesn't you have to put it this close to the floor?
What?
This
Why?
10 tvachim.
10 tvachim is much higher than that. 40 inches. Anyways. Let's see. So talking about Yosef Rab Chia bar Abba Rab Asi Rabba bar Nosan v'Yosef Rab Nachman Gabaya v'Yosef Yukamri. Hi Elon Dekoi, Dekoi Heicha. Right. This tree. Where was it standing? Right. Elaim with Dekoi b'Rishus HaYachid. If it's standing in private property, then Mali Lamala Mali Lamata. Who cares if it's above 10 tvachim, below 10 tvachim? Rishus HaYachid Oila Hadarakia. Rishus HaYachid goes to the sky. Right. So what's the difference if it goes above 10 or below 10? Ela Dekoi b'Rishus HaRabim. It's talking about where the tree was in Rosh Hashanah, the Mischaven Lishpois in Heicha. So where are you deciding to spend your Shabbos? If you planned on spending Shabbos in the top part of the tree, so then, because if you planned on spending your Shabbos in the tree, then you and your eruv are in the same place, right? So what's the problem? Must be your kavanah is to be on the bottom, right? Now Rashi says that we're talking about where a tree is 4 tefachim wide, so therefore it's a reshus b'fnei atzma, right? Meaning when you put it in the tree that's 4 tefachim wide and above 10 tefachim, that's going to become a reshus hayachid, right? So it must be that his kavanah is to live lamata, and if the eruv is above 10, therefore it's no good. Again, he's putting his eruv in a tree above 10 tefachim. Since the tree is 4 tefachim wide and he put it above 10 tefachim, that's a reshus hayachid. But he's living on the bottom of the tree, which is a reshus harabim. So how is he having access? How's he having access to his eruv? You can't take it from reshus hayachid to reshus harabim, right? So then the problem is where we go weiter, right? So what's with the second case of the Mishnah? But if it's below 10 tefachim, his eruv is an eruv, right? But if he's living in a tree, how's he getting in the tree? You're not allowed to use a tree on Shabbos. So if he's spending time in the tree on Shabbos, how's he getting his eruv? So the Gemara answers, it's talking about where it was in the Rishus Harabim. And his kavanah was to live on the bottom part of the tree, right? Or not, or meaning on the ground. The Rebbe, and it's going according to the Rebbe, that says, and this, by the way, this is the way we pass it, right? That anything that's an Issa derabanan, there's no gezeira ben hashmashas. And that is a very dangerous line to learn, because he just said that anything that's awesome derabanan is mutter to be done ben hashmashas, even by a yid, right? Everything is derabanan nowadays, kimat. So according to him, I can use my phone ben hashmashas, right? It's a derabanan, right? We just said kol davar shum b'shum shvus. Anything that's an issur shvus, like gazur ben hashmashas. They didn't make exer ben hashmashas. It's 2 derabanans and it's no problem. Nah, okay, we don't do this. We don't do this. So when we do amir la'akab, that we do. Right? You can tell a guy to do anything you want ben hashmashas. We don't do it for other isurim, but that's a whole complicated thing. We'll have this again later, so maybe we'll discuss it then. Either way, so the reason why he's able to get it, but to go on a tree on Shabbos is derabanan, not a dioyraysa. And since when does your eruv need to be there? Ben hashmashas. So ben hashmashas, you could climb up the tree. You can use the tree to get your eruv.
Don't try this at home.
What do you say?
Don't try this at home during the...
Correct. Do not try it at home. Do not try it at home. So Amud Rav Nachman, Peretz, we haven't had this one in a while, Peretz. Amar le Rav Nachman.
You keep bringing up these Hasidic guys putting the eruv in front of your bungalow.
Yeah.
Just a technicality over here. If you're living there, why do they need an eruv techumin?
Because they live outside of... We haven't gotten to this part of Sugya. It's a good question. They live outside of the city. We both live outside of the city. Our bungalow colony is considered its own city, and their bungalow colony is around a half a mile away. It's its own city. So therefore, they only get 2,000 amas from... Everything is stretched out too far away. So
doesn't your bungalow colony
No, because we're more than 70 amas away. Once you're more than 70 amas away, then it's considered a new city, and you only get the 2,000 amas from yours. If they would build up the houses in between, then it'd be no problem. But meanwhile, there's no houses, so therefore they only get 2,000 amas from their bungalow colony. So therefore they make the eruv in our bungalow colony. Then it's as if they're living in our bungalow colony, in which case they could continue 2,000 amas from us.
Okay, I'm wasting everybody's time.
That's an excellent question. We're gonna get to
all these halachas, and then they're putting it a couple inches too high.
Right, so here's my question. The telephone pole they put it on is on our property, but it's not within the eruv. Is that called a reshus hayachid or not? See, I'm not so sure they're in the reshus harabim. I think they're in the reshus hayachid, just not in a mechitza. So I'm not sure what the status of that is. But okay, whatever it is.
Why don't you just extend the eruv?
No, we can't. The eruv is the fence, so this is in the parking lot.
So tell
the question is why they don't just put the they should put the eruv in our fence. That's what they should. That's easy.
Jacob,
Yes.
Jacob, I'm trying to get a visual. What do they gain? This is from where? From Kleisenberg to you, so they could go further?
No, this is talking about from
Dubins.
Dubins.
Right.
You know what
And they wanna
Dubins
be-
is?
Yeah, and they want to be able to go where?
To the Kleisenberg to the mikveh.
Ah, I got it. I thought it was Kleisenberg to go to Happy Avenue.
No, that too. They would have to make an eruv. They would also have to make an eruv to do that. Either way, you'd have to make an eruv.
Yaakov, if they put the food in
Aaron, they did that
and
when
it would be by the
weekend
list
of
box,
Woodstock
and it becomes not
about
kosher.
Happy Avenue.
I hear. Very good. Very good. What do you say, Rar? What? I mean,
When you were
yeah.
within 2,000 amas where they are at night, right?
Can't hear. Can't hear what you're saying. What do you say?
The food that you're setting up has to be within 2,000 amas of the town that they're in, correct?
Correct. But since they're in the country, the houses are so far away from each other, it's not considered part of one city. So therefore, each person only gets 2,000 amas from the edge of their property, not from the, it's not a city. But we're going to discuss those sugis Bez Hashem. It's not for a while, but we're going to discuss it.
So what if they
fine.
gave you money to cover part of your property taxes once a year? Just like Hanukkah, if you're at someone's house, you give them a nickel. You
Yeah,
get
so the
part of
problem is that what happens if 1 week they want to walk the opposite direction?
Then they can't.
Correct. So that's
Then they
why
have to give money to someone over there.
Well, yeah, but so like
Peanut
this, they
butter's
do it every.
cheaper. Peanut butter is cheaper.
Peanut butter is cheaper. That's true. That is true. Yeah. But anyways, but that's okay. Well, we'll do these sugis Bez Hashem. So Amalu Rav Nachman.
You have to put it up every week.
Right.
Every week you have to put it up.
No, if it survives from the week before, it's fine. So Amalu Rav Nachman Yasher, which they change on the side to Yi Yasher, right? Yi Yasher Kayach. Remember? I knew you got a kick out of that, parents. Right? So we haven't had that since the beginning of brachas, right? So Rav Nachman said Yi Yasher. Yes, you're correct. V'chein Amar Shmuel, and Shmuel said the same thing. So Amrulay, I don't get these next two lines. Not that it's mashma that I get all the other lines, but these next two lines I really don't understand. Amrulay, Pasri Suba Kulei Hai, did you, like Claire, did you go through this whole Mishnah so well that you understand pshat like that? Right? I don't understand. Why not? He learned the Mishnah. And he said pshat in the Mishnah. All of a sudden, you learned the Mishnah so much? Okay. So, Inunami Hachika Pasriya. Well, what do you mean? We also did, or they also learned it well. Yeah? Elahachi Amalek. Kaviasa Lebe Gemara. Were you kaveya this in the Gemara? As far as I remember, this is the first time it says the word Gemara, right? Did you put it into the Gemara? Now, that doesn't mean to the print Gemara, because they didn't have print back then. Right? Did you put this into the curriculum, that this is the pshat? Right? That it's going according to Rebbe, and that during Ben Hashmashos you're allowed to do a nisa derabanan, so that's why this eruv works. Amralu in, so he said back to them, yes, I did. Yes, I put it in. It's almost like they're asking him, you're saying over a pshat, and do you really legitimately consider that enough of a good pshat that you put it into the Gemara or not? Right? It's almost like they were chayshit that he didn't. He was just stam saying vertlach. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on over here. Fine. Okay. Itmanami. It's talking about a tree that was in the Rishus Harabim. Gavoya Asara, 10 tvachim high, v'rochav arba, 4 wide, 4 tvachim wide, v'nischaven lishpois lamata, and his kavana was to be under the tree. The Rebbe and it's going to go to the Rebbe, Damar called over Shumishim Shvus, like Gaza will be Nashmashas. Anything that's a Shvus, they were not Gaza bin Nashmashas. Amar Rava, La Shanu Ela Be'ilan Oimid Chutz Libura Shel Ir. This is only talking about with a tree that's outside the city. This is another concept that's also very, very difficult to understand. I mean, it's easy to understand, but how it works. So about the Elon that's outside the Ibura Shel Ir is every city gets an extension of 70 amas, and then the 2,000 amas counts. Meaning, really, when everybody says, "Oh, your techumin is 2,000 amas," it's really not. It's 2,070 and change, right? Because you get 70 amas. That's what we said, that in the country the houses are so far apart that each one gets its own tchum, eruv tchum, or each tchum, because each one has to calculate, because you don't give 70 amas only to a city. But when you're going outside of a city, the last house of the city is when there's more than 70 amas between that house and the next house, right? The last house is the one that's within 70 amas. So you always get a 70 amas buffer. That's what I guess what it would be. So they were talking about with a tree that's outside this 70 amas. But if the tree that you put your eruv is outside the 70 amas from the city, then even if you put it above 10 tefachim, it's an eruv. Why? Because we look at the whole city as if it's filled up with dirt, with ground, right? Meaning, since this is all part of one city, we look at the city as if is the whole ground of the city is 10 tefachim high. And meaning anything within the boundaries of this city plus the 70 amas is looked at like it's filled in and it's one big flat city that's above 10 tefachim, right? So since it's above 10 tefachim, anything above that is Rishus HaYachid, and you're standing there, and therefore you can go get it, okay? I don't understand how you consider a city filled up with dirt, but that's what the Gemara is saying. It's right. Remember we had this before. Basic command demal yadami, right? We said a house is looked at like it's totally filled up, like this. If you throw an object through a house on Shabbos, we look at it like it landed on something, right? So it's basic command demal yadami. Okay, if that's the case, then outside the Ibur also, since you're connecting it, it should have the same din. So Kivin Dama Rava, no, since Rava said that anybody who puts an eruv, right, you get 4 amas around the eruv. Wherever you stood, you get 4 amas, and then the 2,000 amas starts. So then, since you get 4 amas, that's considered like your own little Rishus HaYachid. Rishus HaYachid oila al rakia, and Rishus HaYachid goes up to the sky. So therefore, wherever it is that you put your eruv, that you're going to be okay. So Amar Rav Yitzchak Breder Rav Mashar Shia Hacha Be'ilan. Now he says a different shot. Yeah. We're talking about an Ilan Hanoit Chutz LaArba Amazaskin. We're talking about a tree that grows sideways, right? I think Yuri posted the picture of this, right? It's talking about a tree that goes totally sideways outside of its 4 amas, right? V'nischaven lishbais be'ikara, and your kavana was to live on the base of the tree, but the rest of the tree goes out, right? So the problem is that your eruv is more than 4 amas away than where you are. Yeah, but the tree is a Rishus HaYachid. So how are you getting that eruv from this tree trunk? Not the trunk. I'm sorry, the tree branches. That's more than 4 amas away from you because it's a weird shaped tree, right? But if you put it on between 3 and 10 tefachim, or less than 10 tefachim on the base, then it's going to work. So if that's the case, and the tree grows out, so what are you talking about that it's above 10 tefachim, below 10 tefachim? So he says the hadar zakif. No, the tree goes out and then it goes up. So it's sort of like an L-shaped tree. Well, more than L-shaped. You have to look on the chat. Look on the chat, and Yuri posted a picture of the
I'll put
tree.
it up here right now. Hold on.
Does the art school have a tree? Does the art school have?
Yeah, sure. Well, you could have like Jesse had all his trees that fell down. They're all horizontal. Your cousin Aaron has a tree in his yard that's horizontal.
Right. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Looks like peanut butter even.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Okay. So. What? But he could, but how can you say that that's pshat, right? It should still be okay before above 10 tefachim, right? Because he can climb up the tree. Didn't we say that we're going according to Rebbe, who says that bein hashmashos you're allowed to be over nisser? Good. So, but let him keep the eruv above 10 tefachim. He'll climb up the tree. Anyways, according to these pictures, it looks like it's quite easy to climb this tree, right? So you climb up the tree. Ben Hashmashas, get your eruv and come back. Why shouldn't it be kosher? So we say no, because Sharabim Mekaspan, although we had this in Shabbos too. This is talking about where the people from the public put their stuff down on this tree to rest. And it goes according to Ula. The Amar Ula, Amud Tisha B'Rishus HaRabim. If you have an Amud that's only 9 Tfachim Rishus HaRabim, right? So if it's 10 Tfachim, then it's going to be Rishus HaYachid. So it's 9 tfachim hayim shusarabim. V'ravim mekasim 11. Everybody, mekasim comes from the word shoulder. They sort of put it down there to rest. V'zorak v'nochal gavav. Then you go and you throw something and it rests on top of this beam. Then you're going to be chayiv, right? Because it's an issa derabanan. So therefore, it's a rishus harabim. So here too, since the rabbin puts their stuff down on this tree, so therefore it's considered like a rishus harabim. Therefore, he's not going to be able to. He's transferring rishus harabim rishus yachid, right? So anyway, so that's that case. Okay, we could stop here because tomorrow's Amud is pretty short. Not so easy, but it's pretty short. What time tomorrow, Taka? What time tomorrow?
What are we doing tomorrow?
1:30.
Nobody's making early. What time?
1:30.
1:30. Phoenix time. Phoenix time.
Who's in Phoenix?
I'm good with that. What do you mean who's in?
I thought that sounded like parents.
10 to 6.
I didn't say 1:30. The parents said 1:30.
What time? Nobody's making early Shabbos tomorrow, right?
6:20. 6:20 we're making.
You serious? Sheesh, man, you guys are hardcore early Shabbos people.
We love Shabbos.
Look, mentioned is 6:50.
We love Shabbos. What did I tell you?
I'm sure you do.
Look, mentioned is 6:50. So what time do you want to do it?
The Tosefes Shabbos also goes on the end of Shabbos.
Don't worry, we do that also.
What time do you want to do it if it's 6:50?
No one remembers that part.
You know how long Aaron Kaplan davened Shachris every morning? 55 minutes.
True. Sevi, stop telling everybody, Cade.
Tosefes Shabbos goes on the Tosefes of sleep because you get to sleep earlier.
No, that's not true.
All right.
Anyway,
I don't know what to tell you. I would think to do it at 6:10.
What did I say?
So like 1:45.
Why are we getting later?
Because no early Shabbos anymore. So why shouldn't we do it later?
Because if you make 10 to 6, you'll be able to keep it like that for a few weeks.
Make 10 to 6.
Or
I don't know. Could
5
Ayla make
o'clock?
it a 10 to 6? Can the guys do 10 to 6?
Works for me.
Sure.
I guess so.
What, until 6:30?
All right, so 10 to 6. There we go. That's 10 to 6 is the winner. Fine.
Now, what are we going to do in the winter?
Well, in the winter we're going to do very short shear, probably 10, 15 minutes. That's the plan.
We're
10,
going to
15
ask on
minutes.
Thursday night and make a decision.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. PC
We're
answer.
going to be in Eretz Yisrael.
Some people don't have winter on the chat.
And that's the only time, by the way, that's the only time that those of us can hear the Matzah Shabbos one live.
Oh, very good.
people.
Very good.
That's it.
No, I mean, I started with 5:30. 5:10 is the earliest Shabbos for me.
Okay, 2 people.
Right, yeah. Florida's pretty much later. Florida's much later. Yeah.
As opposed to us where it's 4:11.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Okay.
Have a good
All
one.
right. What
was that firefighter picture for?
I don't know. What was that all about?
I think it was just on his camera roll. It was a mistake.
Think so?
Yeah.